Every day of October so far, I've been doing a video every single day on a different horror comic or horror comic related topic. This is going to be a special video though, and it's going to be for the kids. So if you have a kid in your life, bring them into the view and get ready, because we're going to be suggesting kids comics that are spooky or Halloween season friendly. But I'm not alone today. I have a special guest. Everybody, give a round of applause. He's back. Riley is back. And if you're not aware, if you haven't been watching my channel for a long time, we used to do a segment together called Hey Kids Comics.
Yes.
And it's where Riley would come on and show off the comics that he enjoys. So all the kids in your life can be introduced to different comics that they might enjoy, and it'll be more appropriate for them. And now, before Riley goes through suggestions, we have a stack of books over here for the spooky season for kids. They're going to be not too scary and age appropriate. We'll talk about ages and things because we have some books for younger kids and then a little bit older kids. But before that, I have to give my disclaimer that all my other videos that I've done this month, probably a large portion of them are not appropriate for kids. So beware, parents. Don't just go on my channel and start watching any video. If you go to the playlist, Hey Kids Comics, though, all those videos are appropriate. So stay tuned.
And watch this video until the end.
And we're back. All right. So the first book that we're going to talk about is from a series that Riley has covered before on Hey Kids Comics.
Yes.
I'll link above the video where he talks about the series. But we have Pup Detectives, Volume 4, Ghosts, Goblins, and Ninjas.
About this fourth volume. This is the only one that's sort of Halloween related. It's the only one that actually has goblins, monsters in it. This book is about where Westy tries to go through bark jitsu, and
That's awesome.
And he keeps failing, but these cats also in his class keep beating him and doing everything right. He still has his white belt, which is the first belt you can have in bark jitsu and
I'm sure there's some kids in here that are in martial arts.
And they got their yellow belt. So now he's trying to focus on it. But while this is happening, his sensei comes into a closet and there's a bunch of mirrors in there. And then the goblin appears in the mirror. Now the goblin's not in the closet. It's just in the mirror. But I can't spoil it, but there's a big surprise at the end involving who the goblin actually is. And scroll that the sensei has gets stolen, and you figure out who that is too. This is about 4 pups named Westy, Ziggy, Rora, and Ryder. And they're all trying to solve all these school mysteries. And now they've created a club in order to solve all those mysteries. And sometimes even on the PA, the principal calls for the pup detectives to unite in her classroom.
So 2 questions. One, what age group would you recommend this for?
Not for appropriateness, but probably 6 and up, just because of the words.
At the reading level?
Yeah.
Okay, and then my next question, this is Volume 4. Can they start off with this one?
At least read the first volume.
To get introduced to the characters?
Yeah. And then you can go off anywhere else. It just might be a little confusing to you, just because it kind of goes in the order of 1 through 9.
All right, so our second book is Barb, The Last Berserker, Book 1 by Dan and Jason.
Now, I think there's 3 of these. I know there's definitely 2 because I've read the second one at my local library, but I don't know if they came out with a third. My dad forced me to read this, but in the end, I did like it. So,
and I'll just say, I forced him because I read it and it was awesome. Like, if you love, for parents, if you're trying to find books that you can read with your kids because you want them to be like entertaining for you and not just boring, this is a great one. It's action packed. It's colorful. It's about a barbarian fighting all these monsters and things. I think this is a lot of fun.
This one is about where this girl, if you don't already know, named Barb, spoiler alert, she's apparently a berserker, so she goes berserk at some points during fighting. It's awesome. If you like Last Kids on Earth, it's kind of like that, just with one kid and a bunch of monster friends. So, yeah.
Definitely reminds me of like Conan the Barbarian. Any sort of barbarian comic that I've read, it reminds me of that, but made for kids. So I'd assume that the creators are probably fans of those barbarian comics and wanted to make something appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend that one.
The age group would probably be, I think there's a little bit of gore, not like blood, but just because of the fighting, I would probably make it 7, 8 plus.
Probably monsters, like, you know, like the Saturday morning cartoon action.
Yeah.
This one I'm excited about. I actually did a video on the full title of this.
Yeah, so my dad made a video about this in your horror, 31 Days of Horror.
Yeah, just 2 days ago the video came out.
Yeah, and I read this when I was like 6, but I'm at a pretty high reading level, so maybe an 8 plus. But it's
Itty Bitty Hellboy by Art Baltazar and Franco. So, yes, I did a video on Hellboy, which I would not recommend for kids. But I think Riley is almost at the age where I feel like I think I'm going to have him read Hellboy. But before that, this is how he was introduced to these characters, and this is where he gained an interest from him. If you're familiar with Art Baltazar's work, we've done some videos on him. Riley's a huge fan of his work. I think his probably most popular series is probably Tiny Titans.
Yeah.
So that's where he took the DC characters and made them like their children and made them like really fun comics for kids. Same idea here, but with the Hellboy characters. Take it away.
So, if you don't already know, this guy is Hellboy, and he has a big fist.
The right hand of doom!
Oh, and then one little fist. So, he's just a fun character, and he goes on this all funny adventures. The first one, it's just a bunch of random adventures. This one has kind of like a whole story involved into it called The Search of the Were-Jaguar. Almost every story that I've read like this has some kind of weird animal that's never been seen, never been taken a picture of. So that's what the second one is about. And it's called The Were-Jaguar. I'll show you.
Yeah, so Hellboy, the actual comic, is seeped in a lot of like folklore and old ancient like spooky stories and things that, because Mike Mignola, who's the creator of Hellboy, is like such a geek for learning old ghost stories and old folklore of all different traditions and like Nordic and Japanese and all kinds of stuff. So I assume that's kind of the idea that Art Baltazar is going for the Were-Jaguar.
That's what the Were-Jaguar looks like. I would probably make these 9, 10 plus. It's a little quirky, funny, but it's a little, like, age appropriate. I would suggest if they're lower than 8, the adult read them first and see what they think about it.
That's my recommendation for all things. If you're an adult and you want it, we're just giving you a suggestion. But if you're concerned, read it yourself first and then see if you feel like it's appropriate for kid.
That's what my dad does for all the manga I want to read.
Right. Art Baltazar is not only represented with that book. We have him on this list again because, like I said, he's one of Riley's favorite cartoonists.
Patrick the Wolf Boy. I already did a video on this for...
I think it's your free comic book day haul video.
Yeah. So
I'll link it above.
Sometimes me and my dad go on Free Comic Book Day. Every comic book lover likes Free Comic Book Day. Me and my dad go all the way up to Muncie to go to Art Baltazar's actual store.
Oh yeah, comics.
Yes. We've never actually seen him. I really want to so I can get these signed.
We're gonna catch him at a convention or something sometime.
Yeah.
Riley really wants to meet Art.
You can see that it has Patrick on here. But at night, on full moons, his name's Patrick the Wolf Boy. So, of course, at night, on full moons, he changes into a werewolf. This one's just about Patrick the Wolf Boy trying to go to school and just making a mess out of everything. Well, that's literally just it. And every time I read it, I just get a funny laugh. Even sometimes you think it might get old because this is like 100 pages for both of these. And it seems like it might get old, but it really never does. I would probably rate these one of my younger books because Patrick the Wolf Boy doesn't talk much, but there is some like harder to read words. So
which shouldn't scare you off. You could just, if you come across a word that you don't know, go to your parent or adult or guardian and ask them. That's how I learned all the hard words I knew as a kid.
I would probably say they're 5 to 6 year olds.
All right, nice.
Not including the hard words to read.
This next one is a webcomic, but collected into a physical form because we like to read physical books. We read some digital, but mostly physical books. And that is Hooky. It's like preteen, probably, I'd say.
Yeah.
Preteen to early teenager age. But we wanted to have offerings for all kids.
So I'm a preteen, I'm 11, so this is a book that I was reading just like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think it's when you picked it up the first time.
I absolutely loved it the first time I read this. It was amazing. Now, it does have some age-appropriate things. A lot of it is that, but for preteens, I still say the parent read it first. It's about these 2 witches that miss the bus to school and try going on this adventure to get either back to their school or just trying to live without dying.
And there's 3 volumes total, right?
Yes, I have the second one. Hold up, right here. Yeah, I didn't finish the third one, but...
Oh, I thought you did.
No, because I didn't... Out of the 3, my least favorite is the third, because this second book ends on a huge cliffhanger, and then they skip like 24 years later.
And then they probably go back to it, right? The cliffhanger?
Yeah,
After
but like a backstory that's like 20 pages long.
I know stories. I do that sometimes. All right, this next one has a Netflix show that it was based on, but it got canceled early. Now, the third volume, which Riley doesn't have yet, finished off the series. And this is one of Riley's favorite like TV shows. This is Dead Endia by Hamish Steele. But the Netflix show is called what?
Dead End Paranormal Park.
Yeah, because it's about a theme park. So talk about this. Maybe mention what the difference is between the Netflix show and this.
Well, there is a huge difference. So this first one covers like the first 2 seasons. The second one covers a little more of the second season. And the third one, it just won't be the same without the TV show. The second season ends way differently than this does. So, yeah, I like them, but I like the TV show way better. It's really...
And I wonder if that'll change with... Because we still need to get the third volume.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to... Because it concludes a lot of the plot threads from the second season of the show.
So it's just Barney and his pug, Pugsley, and Norma. And I just watched it for like the 3rd time a few months ago. And they look a little different especially Norma in the show. That's the Watcher. You'll figure out who he is, and it's
a Watu?
Watcher.
A Watu the Watcher. Oh, sorry, this isn't Marvel Comics.
The Watcher, and when you think about who he is and what he looks like, you get revealed who he is, but you don't think who it is. When I first watched it, I was like, so that's who it is. That makes no sense. And then in that episode, it recaps what everything happens. Because the Watcher is from the future, so it knows everything that's happened and what's going to happen. That's another guy from the second season. Again, ends the second season.
But what's the whole thing about? They're running a theme park?
Yeah, they try running a theme park with, this is the demon Courtney. And they just try to, again, like Hooky, live.
Because they get the job. They both need jobs, right? And then that's how they get the job at the theme park.
Like, it's their very first job. And Norma's in love with this place. So she knows every secret hideout. Pauline Phoenix, the main character of the theme park, what she does every second.
She's a big fan. Crazy. What age would you recommend this for, though? I think the show's Y7. Is that correct?
I think so. I'm not
Double
sure.
check, but I think the show's Y7, which tells you the appropriateness of the show. The comic.
I think that's like 10 plus.
You think the show should be 10 plus?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say this is equal to what the show is?
Yeah.
So if a parent let the kid watch the show and was comfortable, you think this would be appropriate to read?
I think they should read these still, just in case, because I think the monsters are a little scary, like scarier in here than what's in the show.
We have one last one. This is an old favorite of Riley's. He watched the anime first, but now he's reading the manga.
The soundtrack goes bum 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 bum.
Do you know what it is yet? Well, if you don't, Yokai Watch.
Yokai Watch.
So this was an anime that Riley started watching, and then we found out there's a manga. Tell us about Yokai Watch.
Before that, I was like 4, and I feel like every kid watches Netflix. So I watched Netflix, and I found this, Yokai Watch, and I started watching it. I think this is my first anime that I've
cool.
like actually watched.
And according to Viz, they have an age rating on the back, which I wish all comics and books had age ratings on the back. Again, just as a suggestion for parents, but they don't. But Viz does. They always have, it says all ages on the back. So whenever he's hunting for more manga to read, he always looks on the back and looks for that little A on there. If there's a T on it, then he says, Dad, you need to read this first. I want to read this.
Because that means teen. And then if it says T plus, then it's more than teen.
It's like 16 plus
yeah.
age.
And then if it says M, then it's mature. And pretty much every manga is teen or higher. So right now, I'm in a really mad spot because I can only read the all ages before my dad has to read them. And my dad always says, I have like 50 other books to read first. Because
I've read some for you, though.
Okay, but what about that Naruto book?
I told you after October. 31 days of comics and videos is a lot of work.
Okay.
When October's over, I'll read Naruto. It'll be Naruto November. There we go. Alliteration.
Whatever.
But hold on. What is this about?
This is about Nate, an ordinary boy. So he gets B's, C's, ordinary. Then he's a bug catcher, so he likes catching bugs with his friends. And he goes into the like restricted part of the forest, and he finds this. What are those gumball things called?
Gumballs?
No, like gumball machines. Whatever those are called.
A gumball machine.
Okay. Whatever those are called. And it's full of like rocks. And so he just puts one in and he says, oh, I got a dud. Because it's just a really heavy rock. But he tries twisting it and this guy appears. His name is Whisper and he's his yokai butler. And he gives him the yokai watch, hence the name.
If you're not familiar, in Japanese folklore, there's a lot of... Yokai means ghost.
Yeah.
Right? And in Japanese folklore, there's like all this rich history of yokai and ghosts and things. So it's kind of what it's playing to, but in a kid-friendly way. So all the different ghosts and monsters and he encounters are actually based on actual Japanese folklore, just updated and changed to make it a little bit more cartoony. But I think it has like vibes to like Pokemon, would you say? Because there's like so many different characters to not collect, but you know. I think it's a lot of fun watching the series with Riley. I've watched a few of them, a few episodes and things here and there. It seems like it's really fun. Very definitely, I'd say it's for fans of Pokemon.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon, just you have to become with the become a friend of it instead of catching it.
Yeah.
And then in the book manga, they fist bump and then a little medal appears and he puts on his watch and they appear no matter what.
So that's it. That's the stack. Those are Riley's recommendations for this year. Maybe next year I can bring him back for another one. But on my 31 days of horror comics, are you saying you want to?
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed? Okay, then. Let's do it. My 31 days of horror comics. Again, today was the only kid-appropriate one. Parents, watch the other videos and you can determine for yourselves. Probably not a lot. But if you are a parent watching this, join me on my other days of horror comics. It's spooky season. It's a time to read horror comics. And continue and subscribe if you haven't already. And I have a playlist for Halloween Horrors 2025 if you want to check out all my videos I've done this month. We also have a playlist called Hey Kids Comics, where we have all the videos with Riley on them, talking about age-appropriate comics for kids. But thank you.
Keep talking comics.
Boom!
Ah!